Hello guys, welcome to part 20 of Naruto Rebirth of the Yellow Flash. First of all, I say that this story doesn't belong to me, so if you want to read the full story for yourself, you can go down in the description to find the link to the original post and read the full story for yourself. That being said, let's get into the video. Naruto Rebirth of the Yellow Flash, part 20, the setup month. Naruto was excited. He was being respected in the village. He had completed two of his dad's signature jutsu, three. He was now in a relationship with the girl he loved. He was also glad that his grandfather figure and sensei were both supportive of his choice. His aunt was being bumped out since he had rejected a contract with his aunt was he was a little bummed out since he had rejected a contract with Sarvi, but told him she didn't hold a grudge over it. His mother wasn't particularly happy because of her history with her history with Kumo, but she soon gave in after seeing how happy both kids were. He was also glad that the Raikage had expanded his stay for up to 1 week so as to discuss the terms and conditions for the peace treaty between the two villages. The treaty was as follows: both Kumo and Konoha would be in complete peace. Trading would be promoted between the two villages. Military aid will be provided in case a village is attacked. Both the villages would exchange 25 elemental jutsu each. The deal will be closed by the agreement of Naruto Namikaze and Samui Yukisho, who would be there for first of five of Naruto's wife, who would be the first of five of Naruto's wives. Currently he found Naruto enjoying a picnic with Samui. So Samui-chan, what do you plan to do next after you go back to Kumo? Oh, I think I am going to join the 12 Lightning Guardians. Both me and Karui have been offered spots. What about you? Asked Samui. Just like you said, I will first regret my clan work before allotting a respectable representative who will handle my clan papers while I am gone. After that, I will join the Fire Guardians on a 2-year contract. Who knows what I do after that? Depends really. It kinda depends really. Naruto answered with a grin. Me, Naruto, you will not forget me if you find the other girls of your clan restoration act. Samui quietly asked. Naruto in response just lifted her up and placed on his lip before kissing her on the lip. Samui was stunned for a moment before she recomposed and recuperated the smile kiss, and soon it turned into a full-on make-out session. They broke apart after a few minutes, after which Naruto touched his forehead with hers and said, does that answer your question? Samui merely nodded and had a small blush on as they were having their picnic date. Hiruzen was currently in a very hot headed council meeting whose agenda once again was none other than Naruto. You cannot let Namikaze Tono marry that Kumo Konoichi in Hokage-sama. We can easily provide someone better than her. Koharu agreed, as the rest of the civilian council agreed with him, while apart from the Hyuga clan, the other clans didn't seem to have a problem with this arrangement. The Hyuga clan, the other clans didn't. Oh, the Hyuga have a problem. And why would I do that? Naruto himself stated that he will only marry the ones he loves, provided they love him back. In this case, it is their which is why I accepted the arrangement. Hiruzen replied in his voice, firm, not and firm and not showing any emotion. Hiruzen, you are giving the brat way too much leverage. He should have to listen to you, not the other way around. Tanzo said, that goes for you too, but it doesn't stop you from doing what you want, or what you or the civilian want to do. Also, you made his life a living hell as a kid. Now I will be favor or him over you. Hiruzen calmly replied, causing Tanzo, Koharu, and Hamura to grit their teeth in frustration. Hokage-sama, I know that it is now my place to say, but it isn't my place to say, but why did you agree to this arrangement, considering our history with Kumo? Hiyashi asked. Well, for one, on once the previous incident involving Kushina Yu and the Yor and Fugaku's daughter were ordered by the same Sandemon Raikage. The current Yondame Raikage was an honorable man who, despite fighting Minato in the third grade shinobi war, was a friend of Minato's. He apologized for the previous attempt and offered us very good terms for the treaty. Joining the treaty will solidify both the villages. It's a peaceful agreement. Also, if we keep hold on to the past, we will hinder us in the future. I have already agreed to the treaty, and both me and A have already signed it. I was merely informing you of the treaty, not asking for your opinion. Hiruzen said with narrowed eyes. But the Hokage-sama, what about the jutsu we have to give them? A civilian questioned. I will be giving the jutsu from my library, so don't worry about that. Along, what are we giving? We are also receiving. This meeting is adjourned, no questions. Hiruzen said as he got up and left the room. He left the rubbed his temple while muttering, I'm getting too old for this crap. Jiraiya brings Tsunade back already, since back. Naruto was at the Konoha gate to see off Samui, who was returning to Kumo. By Samui-chan, I will miss you, he said as he hugged Samui. I will miss you too. It's uncool without you, Samui said as she gave her a kiss on the cheek. Who was watching from the distance along with Omoi and Karui, grinned before he bowed. Samui-chan, anytime now, he said in a sing-song time. Samui then hesitantly ran towards the Kumo group as they ran towards Kumo. Well, who would have thought Samui would talk like that? Karui said in a tense voice. Omoi immediately knew not to comment, as he knew an angry Samui is in return equaled to an S-rank nuclear jutsu. Samui then coldly looked at Karui, which caused the red head to simmer down. Samui then said, talk about it to anyone and I will show you pain. Karui nodded hesitantly. And Yugito inwardly chuckled at the scene in front of them. The next few years were going to be very interesting, to say the least. Since back, Naruto was in the Uzumaki clan's training ground, where he wanted to try a new version of the Hiraishin. His father had reached level 2, multiple step, but wasn't able to touch level 3. Naruto, thanks to his notes, had gotten 1 and 2 down easily, and had a fair idea of how he wanted the third step to be. For secrecy, he asked his mother to use her private training grounds, something she easily agreed to, and was glad that he showed her he showed her for help. She then as asked as asked created 500 clones and waited for Naruto to do what he wanted to do. Naruto jumped when the clones were ready and threw the kunai at the clone before he made a ram sign. Then kunais multiplied it into 100 before spreading around the clones. As soon as they landed, Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash. In seconds, all of the clones were history, and he was seen standing in the center of the field with an vertical smile on his face. He turned to his mother, who was looking him with her mouth gasped for and her eyes wide. And Naruto smirked before moving up to her and pushing her mouth closed. "You will catch flies that way, Kasan," he said, and brought her out of her shook industrial stupor. She then immediately brought him into a hug and instantly said, "My son is going to be the next Hokage. Datebayo. I am so proud of you, Datebayo. Datebanno. I believe it. What are you going to name the third step? That I Dateban. Databan. Naruto, being as excited as she was at that moment, in a smiling manner, answered, "I am going to be the Hokage, Datebayo." "Thank you, Kasan, Datebayo. I am thinking of calling it Hiraishi Level 3 Flash Step, Datebayo." Flash step, flash step. Datebayo, that's nice. Dateban, what are you doing next? Asked Kushina. "I was going to visit Ziji to decide who will represent me during the council meeting while I am gone, and then I need to move into the Namikaze assets and transfer all my money into my account. After that, I guess spend time around the village before leaving in 2 weeks' time," Naruto answered after thinking. "How about you have lunch before leaving? I will cook." Nakushina asked. "Sure, I haven't eaten with you alone in ages. By the way, where is Narumi and Mito?" Naruto asked. "They are out with Hinata and other clan heiresses," Hikushina answered as the mother-son duo walked back into the main house. She noticed that Naruto had tensed a little on the mention of Hinata. She didn't ask him about it as she then said, "Kasan, next time you talk to Hinata, ask her why she used the seal on Neji. She said she wanted to untie the clan, but her actions speak otherwise." "Kasan, next time you talk to Hinata, ask her why she used the seal on Neji. She said she wanted to untie the clan, but her actions speak the other way." "Alright, I will, but from now let's eat," I said as Naruto happily nodded, following her. Since back after his lunch with his mother, Naruto was casually walking down the street toward the Hokage Tower to recite the three agreements on his mind. On the way, there many civilians stopped by and greeted him before asking him for forgiveness. He just shrugged and told all of them that it was now water under the bridge and not something that needed to be considered up. Due to the number of stops, it took him about a good 15 minutes before he reached the Hokage Tower. Entering it, he saw Mina and greeted her, saying, "Oh yeah, Mina-ni-chan, how are you?" "I'm fine, my little Naru-chan. How can I help you today?" Mina teasingly asked back, knowing Naruto would take the bait. Hey, I'm not a little anymore. I am a new Jonin now, he said with a huff. Oh, you could be the Hokage, but you still be the little Naruchan to little old me. Now, what are you doing here? Asked Mina. Oh, here to see the Hokage to discuss my clan head stature and what not. I will see you later, Mina Nichan. Naruto said as he picked his older sister figure on the cheek before running off to the Hokage. He kicked open his door just like usual and entered with a shout of "Gigi!" Hiruzen merely opened his arms and hugged the blonde ball of sunshine back with a chuckle. So, Naruto, what can I do for you? Asked Hiruzen. Gigi, I was wondering if you would be willing to respect me. Answer. Represent me council meetings until I turn 16, will you? Naruto asked. I don't really see a problem with it. I have been taking care of your clan for a while now because Minato left me to look after it. Hiruzen said, alrighty, I will leave everything to you, but when I return I will take over. Anyways, Gigi, would you give me some elemental jutsu for wind, water, and lightning, preferably A to S? The library and shop have useless jutsu. Naruto asks with all time famous puppy-eyed jutsu. Hiruzen felt himself crumbling under the might of the puppy Aijutsu. He would normally have been against a 13-year-old using moves that rank, but he lost against the puppy eye and finally gave in. Alright, I will give you the jutsu when you will be leaving for the fire capital. Consider it as an assignment to master them by the time you need to return. Hiruzen answered as Naruto hugged him before thanking him and leaving. The next day, after Naruto and Izan spar in the Sarutobi household training ground, they were currently engaged in taijutsu match. So Naruto, when were you going to tell me about the fox? Izan asked, catching Naruto off guard before hitting him with a monkey barrage and sending him crashing into the floor. Crashing in the floor. How do you know about that, Izan? Naruto groaned out as he stood up. Meh. I heard Dad and Gigi talk about it, but I didn't have a chance to ask about it. Izan lazily replied, I see. So what do you think? Asked Naruto. Nothing different. I have known you for too long to alter my view for you. To me, Shino and Yamako, you will always be the same smart old baka. What I want to know is whether you are going to tell us or no. Izan asked. I was going to leave letters for three of you telling my secret to you. I was afraid of rejection, which is why I avoided telling you guys face to face. Naruto softly answered. Well, what you mean, but know this: you have always had our support, and our support, and that will stay even when you become clan heads. Well, I know what you mean, but know this: you have always had our support, and that will stay even when we become clan heads, Izan said. Naruto smiled a true smile before saying, well, on to round two. I thought you would never ask, Izan said as both charged at each other in a battle that completely trashed the training ground. Naruto had met up with most of his friends and still had a week to waste before he had to leave for the fire capital. He was lazily walking onto the street, wondering what he should do when he was tackled onto the ground by five blurs. Grounding, he saw that the blurs were none other than Mito, Narumi, Konohamaru, Mogi, and Udon. He also noticed that another Hyuga around the same age as Konohamaru corpse was slowly looking at the scene. What's up, guys? Naruto asks as he sat up. You haven't been spending any time with us, and you leave in a week. Don't tell me you intend to leave without spending time with us. Narumi said as the other four shortly nodded their head. Chuckling, he pulled all of them into a group hug before patting their heads. He then stood up and said, "All right then. How about this? I will spend the rest of the week with the six of you. By the way, who is that?" he asked, pointing at the Hyuga. I am Hyuga Hanabi, the youngest of Hiyashi Hyuga and the sister of Hinata Hyuga. Who are you, peasant?" she arrogantly said. The twin and the Konohamaru cops were worried about how Naruto would react, but they calmed down when he burst out laughing. He then went over to Hanabi and patted her head before saying, "So, you are a firecracker." Hanabi, firecracker. Hanabi blushed red before snapping away at his hand before saying, "How did you beat my Ni-chan?" She demanded. "Now, that would be telling, wouldn't it? Beat my Ni-chan. Wouldn't it?" Naruto said with a smirk. "Tell me how you beat my Ni-chan along with her team by a team. They are the best Genin team in Konoha." She demanded again. "It's pretty simple. I was stronger than the three of them," she said. "How did you become so strong?" asked Hanabi. I trained my cute little firework. I trained my cute little firework," Naruto replied as he patted her head again. "Her name is Hanabi, not Firework." My name is Hanabi, not Firecracker," she snapped with a blush. Hanabi is the Japanese firework crackers. In Japanese, it's called Hanabi. Whatever you will always be my little firework to me. Now then, everyone, let's go to my place. I will cook you something," Naruto said as he grabbed Hanabi's hand and led all of them to his place. Hanabi for once didn't remove his hand. It felt slightly warm. Is this what Konohamaru and the others were talking about when they talked about a big brotherly feeling? I feel it. Feels safe. It feels safe, she thought. "Ni-chan, will you show us the jutsu you used in the finals?" Udon asked, causing everyone else to look at him with puppy dogs. Fine, I will show you the flying thunder god and also a lightning jutsu that I like," Naruto said, causing all of them to jump excitedly at Naruto's house. "Okay then, everyone, what do you want to eat? Tell me now and I shall serve," Naruto said. "Ramen," both Mito and Narumi shouted. "Tempura," said Udon. "Pasta," said Udon. "Rice with seasonings," Konohamaru said. After that, everyone looked at Hanabi, waiting for her response. She looked slightly annoyed before saying, What do you want to eat, my little firecracker? I'm cooking, so let me know," he finished with a smirk as her stomach growled. "Ah, fine then, onigiri," she said with a hump. Naruto nodded before he took out an apron and got to work in the kitchen. An hour later, six clones appeared and set the food on the table as Naruto walked out, wiping while his hands. He then called all of them and said, "All right, guys, food is ready. Come and get it." The six guests soon joined in on the table and began to eat. Like always, all of them ate it at the blistering pace. Hanabi didn't really understand why her friends were acting that way. She then proceeded to take a bite of her onigiri. As soon as the first bite touched her tongue, she went over the edge before the flavor itself felt oddly familiar. Unknowingly, she increased her increased her eating pace and remembered something that she hadn't in a very long time, the warm touch of a mother. Himato died 4 years after Hanabi's birth, so she has a few memories of her. As soon as she finished she felt her eyes full of tear up with teary eyes. She said, "Why does your cooking have the same feeling my warm mom's cooking used to have? Answer me." Naruto understood what she mentioned, so he did everyone else. They all had a similar reaction when Naruto cooked for them. He placed his bowl on the table and calmly asked, "When was the last time someone actually cooked for you without a sense of duty?" Hanabi thought about it. She had chefs at the compound, but they were paid to cook. No one had cooked her favorite onigiri for her since her mother death. She swallowed hard before saying, "For 4 years. The last person to properly cook me was my mother." Naruto smiled sadly. She was Naruto smiled sadly. She was one who was forced to grow up early. She may have already people looking after her, but most of it was without love. She didn't know the love of a father because of the death of his brother and wife had greatly affected him. His sister, in Naruto's opinion, was stuck up as her father, doing what she thought was best. He stood up and gave her a hug. He then said, "Hey, how about this? You become my youngest sister, and I become the brother you never had. I will be someone you can share anything with. How about that?" Hanabi slightly cried before she nodded into the hug. Naruto lovingly smiled at his new sister before looking at the others. The Konohamaru corps were smiling while Mito and Narumi looked slightly jealous. He slightly chuckled at the sense before opening his arm and calling all of them into a big hug. Hanabi smiled a little. Maybe having a big brother wasn't so bad after all. Over the week, Naruto mainly been spending time with Hanabi. He found her to be a sweet little girl once she opened up to someone. She had interest in things that girls her age liked but wasn't given a chance before because of her clan training. Naruto took it upon himself to make sure she doesn't grow up to be sticky Hyuga and bought her the thing she liked. She had grown a lot closer to Naruto and had even started calling him Nichan. Currently, we see Naruto with all of his things packed, ready to run to the fire capital. All his precious people were there to see him off, even Tsunade, who had become Hokage a couple of days ago. "Bye bye, boss. By the time you come back, we three will be gaining. Count on it," Konohamaru said as he and the other two friends cried while they hugged Naruto. Naruto patted their heads before saying, "I have no doubt you will remember to take your training and studies. I will come back to test you, okay?" The three genins nodded before they stepped back. Naruto then hugged all three of his sisters and said, I will miss you guys. Do well on the training trip. With Jiraiya, Mito, Narumi, Hanabi, I will write to you letters every week. Don't forget to tell me everything, okay? Hi, Nichan, all three of them said as they broke the hug. Naruto then turned to Anko and Mina, hugging them tightly before saying, I will miss you, Ni-chan. I'll miss you too, Naru-chan. Gaki. Both of them replied as they wiped the tears that were in their eyes. Itachi stepped forward next and said, I can't begin to tell you how proud I am, Naruto. You have gone well ahead my expectation and have become not only a guardian shinobi but also an outstanding person. Here, take this scroll. It has on of my personal created genjutsu and ninjutsu. Learn them well. Naruto laughed, hugged his big older brother figure and said, thank you, Nisan. Just you wait. By the time I come back, I will be strong enough to beat your ass into the ground. I'll be waiting, told Ototo. Itachi said as he ruffled Naruto's head. Naruto then turned to Hiruzen, who handed him a scroll and said, what you asked me, Naruto, use this time to develop yourself. Come home back as a raging fire that will protect Konoha. I have a slight cough, that's why I'm pausing the video and my voice is this way. Count on it, Gigi, Naruto said as he hugged his grandfather figure before turning to his old godparents. Good luck out there, Gaki. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when you were a kid. Jiraiya said as Tsunade nodded. Oh, don't worry about it, Jiraiya-sama. Tsunade-sama, what happened is now under the bridge. Naruto said as he shook hand with them before hugging a sobbing Mikoto. Naruto was like a son to her. Seeing him leave for a long time was painful for her, to say the least. He soothingly rubbed her back before backing the hug and turning to his mother. After a long goodbye with his mother, Naruto finally turned and ran away, with two escorting Anbu, not to be seen for the next 3 years. That's all for part 20. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is the best way to be notified for future parts. That being said, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.